5 years of silence, and she reached out on a Tuesday morning. The email sat in my inbox like a ghost from a life I had buried. Back then she had everything. I had nothing but love to offer. She demanded a contract to protect her money, and I signed it because I thought love could survive anything. Now the tables had turned in ways neither of us could have predicted. I had built a tech empire from nothing. She had lost almost everything her family once had. And that email read, "We need to talk." I made a mistake. But some mistakes cannot be undone. This is how a piece of paper changed everything. Before I tell you how a wealthy woman's demand for protection became her biggest regret, I would love to know, where are you watching this from? Drop your location in the comments below. And if you have ever felt underestimated by someone you loved, hit that like button and subscribe. Trust me, you will want to see how this unfolds. Now let me take you back to where it all began. I was 28 years old, working as a software engineer at a small startup in Austin, Texas. My life was simple. I pulled in $75,000 a year, enough to cover my one-bedroom apartment and keep my 2015 Honda Civic running. I was not rich, but I was content. I had dreams of starting my own company someday, of building something that mattered. But dreams do not pay bills, so I kept my head down and wrote code. Then I met Sophia at a charity gala my company sponsored. She was 30, stunning in a way that made everyone in the room turn their heads. Long blonde hair that caught the light, warm brown eyes that seemed genuinely interested when I talked about machine learning algorithms, and a smile that made me forget I was wearing a rented suit. She was the marketing director for her family's real estate company, the kind of business that dealt in properties worth millions. We talked for 2 hours that night about everything from artificial intelligence to modern art. She laughed at my jokes, asked thoughtful questions, and when the evening ended, she wrote her number on my palm with a pen from her purse. I called her the next day. For 3 months we dated. She took me to places I could never afford on my salary. Wine tasting in Napa Valley. Weekend trips to Santa Fe. Dinners at restaurants where the bill could have covered my rent. At first I felt uncomfortable. I offered to split checks to pay my share, but she waved me off every time. One night after a particularly expensive meal, I finally said something. We were walking back to her car, a brand new BMW, and I stopped her. "I need to be honest with you," I said. "I cannot keep up with this lifestyle. I make good money, but not like this." She turned to me, took both my hands, and looked me straight in the eye. "I do not care about money," she said. "I care about you, the way you think, the way you see the world. That is what matters to me." I believed her. God help me, I believed every word. A year into our relationship, I proposed. Not at some fancy restaurant or exotic location. Just at Zilker Park on a Sunday afternoon, with a ring that cost me 2 months of salary. $12,000 for a simple diamond that looked tiny compared to the ones her friends wore. But when I got down on one knee and asked her to marry me, she cried and said yes. We started planning a small wedding, something intimate and warm. 2 weeks after the engagement, she invited me to meet her parents at their home in Highland Park, Dallas. The house was massive, a $4 million estate with marble floors and a chandelier in the entryway that probably cost more than my car. Her father, Richard, was a tall man with silver hair and a handshake that felt like a test. Her mother, Eleanor, wore pearls and a polite smile that never quite reached her eyes. Dinner was uncomfortable. Richard asked about my job, my salary, my career prospects. Eleanor made comments about financial security and the importance of stability. Sophia sat quietly, not defending me, not speaking up. She just moved food around her plate and avoided my eyes. On the drive back to Austin, I asked her about it. "Your parents do not think I am good enough, do they?" She reached over and squeezed my hand. "They are just protective," she said. "Do not worry about it." But her voice lacked the certainty it usually carried. Something had shifted. 2 days later, she called me. Her tone was different. Serious. We need to talk about something before the wedding, she said. Can you meet me at the coffee shop on 6th Street tomorrow? I agreed, but my stomach twisted with anxiety. I knew something was coming. I just did not know what. The next afternoon, I walked into the coffee shop and found her at a corner table. She had papers in front of her. Legal documents. Before I could even sit down, she slid them across to me. It is a post-nuptial agreement, she said. My voice must have shown my confusion because she continued quickly. My parents want us to sign it, to protect the assets I am inheriting. I picked up the papers and started reading. The language was dense, but the meaning was clear. All assets she brought into the marriage would remain solely hers. Any property purchased during the marriage would be in her name unless I could prove significant financial contribution. If we divorced within 10 years, we would each walk away with what we brought in. No alimony, no shared property, nothing. I looked up at her. Do you think I'm marrying you for money? No, she said quickly. But my parents insist. It is just a precaution. Just in case. Just in case of what I asked. In case I turn out to be a gold digger. In case I am not who you think I am. It is not like that, she said, but she would not meet my eyes. I sat there staring at those papers, feeling something break inside me. It was not about the money. I had never cared about her money. It was about trust, about her family assuming the worst of me, and her going along with it. I should have walked away right then. My best friend Marcus told me exactly that when I called him that night. Do not sign it, man, he said. This is a red flag the size of Texas. If she loved you, she would not ask you to do this. But I was afraid of losing her. Afraid that if I refused, she would choose her family over me. So I spent a week agonizing over it, and then I went back to her and said I would sign. I will do this because I love you, I told her. Not because I agree with it. She kissed me and thanked me for understanding. But something had already changed between us. The post-nup sat between us like a wall, invisible but real. We got married a month later. The ceremony was beautiful, the reception elegant. We smiled in all the photos. But I could not shake the feeling that I had just agreed to be a guest in my own marriage. After the wedding, Sophia suggested we buy a house together. She found an $850,000 property in West Austin, in one of those neighborhoods where every yard had professional landscaping and every driveway had a luxury car. She paid 80% of the down payment. I contributed 20%, which nearly wiped out my savings. But because of the post-nup, only her name went on the deed. I remember the first night in that house. She gave me a tour showing me the rooms, talking about furniture and decorating plans. It felt less like our home and more like I was a tenant in her space. Our lifestyles started clashing almost immediately. Sophia was used to spending freely. $200 dinners, weekend getaways to expensive resorts, designer clothes that cost more than my monthly car payment. When I suggested we save money, maybe cook at home more often, she looked at me like I had suggested we live in a cardboard box. Why are you so cheap? She asked once. We can afford it. I am not cheap, I said. I am being responsible. I am thinking about our future. We already have a future, she said. My family has money. That stung more than she knew. Because it was not about her family's money. It was about building something of our own together. But she did not see it that way. I threw myself into work. 60-70 hours a week at the startup. I was learning everything I could, networking, building skills. I wanted to move up to earn more, to prove I could be successful on my own terms. But Sophia saw it differently. You are never home, she complained. You are always working. I am building our future, I said. She laughed, but it was not a happy sound. At least you do not have to worry about money like I do, she said. My father was right. You are not as ambitious as I thought. Each comment was like a small cut. Individually they were bearable. Together they bled me dry. In the second year of our marriage, the opportunity I had been waiting for finally came. Marcus approached me with an idea. He wanted to start a company focused on artificial intelligence for property management. The technology could revolutionize how real estate companies operated. It was brilliant, innovative, and risky. He needed a co-founder and he wanted me. There was just one problem. To buy in as an equal partner, I needed $50,000. I had $35,000 in savings. I needed to borrow $15,000 more. That evening I sat Sophia down and explained everything. The technology, the market opportunity, the potential. I showed her the business plan Marcus and I had drafted. I was excited, more excited than I had been about anything in years. When I finished, I looked at her hopefully. I need to borrow $15,000, I said. Just for the initial investment. I will pay you back. Her face went cold. That is a terrible idea, she said. Most startups fail. You know that, right? This one will not, I said. Marcus is brilliant. The idea is solid. You have a stable job, she said. Why would you risk it? Because this is my dream, I said. I have been waiting for this. She shook her head. Then use your own money. Do not ask me to fund your fantasy. We are married, I said. I thought we support each other. She stood up. We do, but I am not going to enable a mistake. Besides, remember the Post-Nup, your business is your responsibility, not mine. That sentence hit me like a physical blow. The Post-Nup. The document that said we were married but separate. Together but apart. I did not argue. I took my $35,000 and borrowed $15,000 from Marcus with a promise to pay him back slowly, no interest. I did not tell Sophia anything more about the company after that. She had made her position clear. She did not believe in me. From that point on, we lived like roommates who happened to share a bed. I worked on the startup at night after my day job. She went out with her friends, spent money on things we did not need, and complained that I was distant. The distance between us grew into a canyon. In the third year of our marriage, things came to a head. Her parents invited us to dinner again. I dreaded these visits, but Sophia insisted. Over overcooked steaks and expensive wine, Richard asked about my little project. How is that startup of yours? He asked, saying startup like it was a dirty word. We are still building, I said honestly. It takes time to develop good software. Eleanor laughed. Maybe you should stick to your day job, dear. Not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. I looked at Sophia, waiting for her to say something, anything. To defend me, or at least acknowledge that I was working hard. Instead, she nodded slightly and took a sip of her wine. The drive home was silent until I could not take it anymore. Why did you not defend me? I asked. Because they are right, she snapped. You are chasing a pipe dream. We are barely getting by. What do you mean we? I said. You never supported this. You made that clear. I supported you by letting you waste your money, she said. Letting me, I repeated. Like you had any say in what I did with my own money. We were both shouting now. Maybe I married someone I thought was going somewhere, she said. Not someone playing startup in a garage. And maybe I married someone who loved me for who I am. I said, not for who she wanted me to be. She went quiet. Then she said, maybe that was never enough. Those words hung in the air between us. Finally, the truth was out. I had never been enough for her. Not my love, not my dedication, not me. She wanted someone who matched her financial status, and I was not that person. 2 weeks later, she asked for a divorce. We want different things, she said. It is better if we end this now. I agreed. I was too tired and too hurt to fight. The Post-Nup made everything simple. She kept the house, her investments, everything with her name on it. I walked away with my beat-up Honda, $10,000 left in my bank account, and a half stake in a startup that had not made a dime yet. I was 33 years old, divorced, and starting over from nothing. I moved into a studio apartment that Marcus helped me find. Actually, I stayed with him for 2 months, first sleeping on his couch, while I scraped together enough for a deposit. He never made me feel bad about it. He just kept saying, "We are going to make this work." And something happened after the divorce. I was free. No more comments about being cheap or unambitious. No more feeling like I had to prove myself to someone who would never believe in me anyway. The pain of the divorce fueled me. I wanted to build something so successful that Sophia would see it and realize what she had given up. I worked 80, sometimes 90 hours a week. I ate ramen noodles and skipped meals. Every single dollar went back into the company. Marcus and I poured everything we had into developing our software. 10 months after my divorce, we landed our first major client. A large real estate company in Houston signed a $150,000 contract. When I saw the signed agreement, I sat in my car and cried. Not because of the money, but because someone believed in what we had built. From there, things accelerated. We hired 3 employees. We rented a small office in East Austin. Revenue started climbing. $50,000 a month. Then $100,000. Then more. By the second year after my divorce, we had 25 employees and were pulling in $8 million annually. Our AI software was being used by some of the biggest property management companies in Texas. My personal net worth hit $3 million. I bought a house in Barton Hills. Not because I needed to prove anything, but because I finally could. It was a modern place with big windows and clean lines worth $1.2 million. I drove a Tesla Model S, but I never forgot where I had come from. I still wore jeans and plain shirts. I still remembered eating ramen in that studio apartment. I did not date much. A few casual relationships here and there, but nothing serious. I was focused on building something that mattered. Marcus became my closest friend, my business partner, my brother in every way that counted. Through mutual acquaintances, I heard occasional news about Sophia. Her father had made some bad investments. Something about cryptocurrency that went south. They lost $1.5 million. Sophia had to sell the house in West Austin, the one we had lived in together. She moved to a smaller condo. I did not feel happy about it. I did not feel vindicated. I just felt nothing. She was part of a past life that no longer had power over me. Then came that Tuesday morning, 5 years after our divorce. I was at my desk reviewing quarterly projections when the email notification popped up. The name made me freeze. Sophia. Subject line. We need to talk. My first instinct was to delete it, but curiosity got the better of me. I opened it. The message was short. She apologized for reaching out after so long. She said she had made mistakes. She said she missed me, missed us. She wanted to meet and talk. At the bottom she wrote, "I made the biggest mistake of my life by letting you go." I stared at that screen for a long time. Then I forwarded it to Marcus without comment. His response came in seconds. "Do not even think about it. She only cares because you are successful now." He was right. I knew he was right. But some part of me needed closure. Needed to look her in the eye and understand what she really wanted. I emailed back and agreed to meet. Not at my office, not at my house. At the same coffee shop where she had asked me to sign the Post-Nup 5 years earlier. There was a symmetry to that. The next afternoon I arrived first and ordered a black coffee. When she walked in, I almost did not recognize her. She was still beautiful, but there was a tiredness around her eyes. Her clothes were nice, but not designer. She looked like someone who had been fighting and losing. She sat down across from me and smiled, but it did not reach her eyes. "Thank you for meeting me," she said. I nodded. "What did you want to talk about?" She launched into her story. The business problems her family had faced, the investments that went bad, how she had to downsize her life, how hard everything had been. And then she said, "I realized too late what I lost. You were the best thing that ever happened to me." I sipped my coffee and let her talk. I did not interrupt. I just watched her, really watched her. Every gesture seemed calculated. Every word felt rehearsed. Finally, she got to the point. "Can we try again?" she asked. "I know I hurt you. I know I was wrong. But we were good together once. We could be good again." I set my coffee down. "I need to ask you something," I said. "And I want you to be honest." She nodded. "If I was still that engineer making $75,000 a year working at a startup that had not succeeded yet, would you be here right now?" She opened her mouth to answer, but nothing came out. The silence stretched between us. She looked down at her hands. That silence told me everything. I stood up. "I cannot do this, Sophia," I said. "Not because I am angry, but because I deserve better. You loved the idea of me being successful. You never loved me as a person." "I have changed," she said quickly. "I see things differently now." "You see things differently because your situation changed," I said. "Not because you changed. There is a difference." She started to cry. "I am sorry. I was stupid. I was shallow. But people grow. People learn." I pulled a $20 bill from my wallet and left it on the table for both our coffees. "5 years ago, I said you made me sign a paper that said I was not worthy of your trust. Today I am making a choice that says you are not worthy of mine. Not out of revenge, just out of self-respect." I walked toward the door. She called after me. "Please. Can we at least talk more?" I turned back. "Take care of yourself, Sophia. I hope you find what you are looking for." Then I walked out into the sunlight. My phone buzzed before I even reached my car. A text from her. "I am sorry. I truly am." I did not respond. I blocked the number. The first week after that meeting, I felt unsettled. Not because I regretted my decision, but because closing that door stirred up old emotions I thought I had buried. I talked to Tom, my business mentor, over lunch. "The best revenge is living well," he said. "You already did that. Now just keep living." I took his advice. That month I flew to Colorado by myself. I spent a week hiking in the mountains thinking about everything. About who I was, where I had been, and where I wanted to go. By the time I came back, I felt clearer than I had in years. I did not need anyone to validate my success. I did not need Sophia to regret losing me. I had already won by becoming someone I was proud of. 3 months after that coffee shop meeting, I started casually dating again. I met a woman named Amy at a bookstore. She was an elementary school teacher who made $45,000 a year and drove a 10-year-old sedan. We talked about books and teaching and making a difference in kids' lives. She did not care that I had money. She cared about whether I was kind, whether I listened, whether I treated people with respect. We took things slow. There was no rush, no pressure, just two people getting to know each other honestly. My company continued growing. By year 6 after the divorce, we were doing $15 million in annual revenue. A major tech firm approached us with an acquisition offer. $25 million. Marcus and I discussed it seriously, but in the end we turned it down. We were not building this for a quick exit. We were building something that would last. I was 36 years old. I had a successful business, genuine friendships, and a life that felt authentic. The pain from my marriage had transformed into wisdom. The rejection had taught me my own worth. I learned that my value was never determined by a bank account or a job title. It was determined by my character, my resilience, my ability to build something meaningful from nothing. I learned that real love does not need contracts to protect assets. It protects hearts, and dreams, and dignity. I learned that success built on someone else's doubt tastes better than any built on their approval, because it is truly yours. I do not hate Sophia. Honestly, I pity her. She traded something real for something temporary. And in the end, she had neither. She had her money for a while, then lost it. But she lost me long before that. The moment she asked me to prove my love was not about her wealth. The post-nup she made me sign sits in a drawer somewhere in my house. I kept it not as a reminder of pain, but as proof that I was always worth more than she thought. It is evidence that someone's limited vision of you does not define your potential. Sometimes the people who underestimate you do you the greatest favor. They give you something to prove not to them, but to yourself. And when you succeed, you realize you did not need their validation after all. You never did. That piece of paper was supposed to protect her money. Instead, it freed me to build my own empire. And that is a kind of freedom money cannot buy. I hope Sophia finds peace. I hope she learns that people are not investments to be protected by legal documents. I hope she discovers that trust is the foundation of love, not wealth. As for me, I wake up every day grateful. Grateful for the rejection that pushed me to become better. Grateful for the pain that taught me resilience. Grateful for the freedom to choose people who see my worth without a portfolio to prove it. The tables did turn, but not in the way either of us expected. She did not lose because I succeeded. She lost when she stopped believing in something real. I won when I started believing in myself. So let me ask you, have you ever been underestimated by someone who should have believed in you? How did you prove them wrong? Share your story in the comments below. I read every single one, and your experiences matter. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel for more real stories about overcoming adversity and finding your worth. And share this with someone who needs to hear that their value is not determined by someone else's opinion. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminded you that the best revenge is not proving others wrong, but proving yourself right. Take care of yourselves out there, and remember you are worth more than anyone's limited vision of you. Until next time.